Vasily Zaitsev, a name synonymous with sniper prowess, didn't hone his deadly skills over years of conventional training or across vast European plains or Far Eastern jungles. Instead, his mastery of sniping was forged in the brutal, unrelenting urban warfare of the Battle of Stalingrad. Shoot with steady aim and look your prey in the eye. You're not a boy anymore. These were the words Vasily's grandfather spoke to him on his 12th birthday in 1927. Zaitsev hailed from a family deeply rooted in hunting, residing on the banks of the Sarum-Sakal River in the southern Ural Oblast. The local forests were vast and perilous, teeming with bears and wolves. And Vasily spent his formative years honing his hunting skills alongside his grandfather. He learned the hunter's way, to be cunning, precise, and possess unwavering patience. Zaitsev's father, a veteran who had fought under General Brusilov in the imperialist war, instilled in him a desire to serve his country. In 1937, Vasily was drafted into the Pacific Fleet, proudly donning the blue and white uniform of a Soviet sailor. However, his destiny lay not on the open sea, but amidst the shattered remnants of a city engulfed in flames. The Great Patriotic War had raged for over a year before Zaitsev's persistent requests for frontline duty were finally granted. He was transferred to the 284th Rifle Division, embarking on a long journey from Vladivostok, across the Ural Mountains, to the banks of the Volga River, eventually reaching the besieged city of Stalingrad. By mid-October 1942, the ferocious battle for Stalingrad's factory district was at its peak. From the southern slopes of Mamiev Hill, Zaitsev witnessed a seemingly endless tide of German tanks and infantry pouring into the city's core. Clinging to their precarious observation posts, Zaitsev and his comrades fought amidst the constant threat of artillery shells and aerial bombs, the air thick with the acrid smell of cordite and the horrifying odor of roasted human flesh. One day, while his group sought cover in a shell crater, they came under intense fire from a German machine gun. Situated approximately 600 meters away, the gunner had a clear line of sight, effectively pinning down the entire group. Desperate for a solution, Zaitsev retrieved a trench periscope. After a quick scan, he raised his rifle and fired almost instinctively. The gunner slumped over. Two more German soldiers attempted to take his place, but each time, Zaitsev took them out with a single, well-aimed bullet. Impressed by his innate marksmanship, Zaitsev's commander presented him with a sniper rifle. There were no formal ceremonies or official documents, only a direct order: kill more Germans. Initially, the Soviet snipers in Stalingrad operated largely independently. Zaitsev would seek out an elevated position within his unit's sector, offering a clear and wide field of fire, and then patiently wait for his targets to reveal themselves. Often, the trenches of opposing sides were separated by mere meters. Zaitsev's early lessons emphasized patience and lightning-fast action when an opportunity arose, since a rapid assessment of elements in the field was not always possible. The important skills for the sniper to cultivate were patience and the ability to map every detail in his head. Small changes that appeared insignificant could in reality be targets. The sniper had to be able to react instantaneously when a worthy target exposed itself. A German machine gun was considered a particularly valuable target, capable of decimating a Soviet squad with well-placed bursts. However, the gunner's need to expose himself while firing made him vulnerable prey for a skilled sniper. Once Zaitsev had established his position, he would check the round in his rifle's chamber and carefully zero in, aligning the crosshairs precisely between his target's eyes. I like being a sniper and having discretion to pick my prey. With each shot, it seemed as if I could hear the bullets smashing through my enemy's skull, even if my target was 600 meters away. Sometimes a Nazi would look in my direction, seeming to stare right at me, without having the slightest idea that he was living out his final seconds. If a sniper wielded a semi-automatic rifle or possessed exceptional speed in working the bolt of a standard rifle, they could also eliminate nearby ammunition carriers before they even realized the danger. A few precisely placed shots were often all it took to neutralize a deadly threat to a Soviet position. By November, the Battle of Stalingrad had evolved into a brutal close-quarters struggle between two deeply entrenched forces battling for control of streets and individual buildings. The repeated, Costly attempts to fully capture Mamayev Hill and the factory district had so depleted the German forces that they could no longer effectively mount large-scale frontal assaults. The Soviet defenders remained steadfast in their ferocious resistance, aiming to wear down their enemies both physically and psychologically. Snipers played a crucial role in this strategy. However, the Germans were far from defeated and had begun employing new tactics. Armed with light machine guns, LMGs, German gunners operated in small groups, appearing suddenly to unleash devastating fire on Soviet assault teams. This emerging threat was one that Zaitsev could not effectively counter alone. He recognized the need for his own team of skilled snipers. He began searching for individuals with not only keen eyesight, but also unwavering courage and determination. These potential snipers needed the discipline to remain motionless for hours and the mental fortitude to pass up easy targets in favor of more valuable sharks, such as officers and decorated veterans. His potential recruits came from all walks of life. Farmers, intellectuals, it mattered little. Once Zaitsev identified a promising student, they would venture out into the ruined cityscape as a pair. He would instruct them on the proper use of the telescopic sight, how to calculate and adjust for windage and distance, and, most importantly, the precise moment to take the shot. Think of this like a game of billiards, he explained. You're always trying to set up your next shot. If you shoot him now, while he's turned away from you, both he and his shovel fall into the ditch. But if you wait and get him when he's facing towards you, his shovel stays up on the near side of the embankment. That way, when the next guy grabs his shovel, you can get him too. Operating in teams of 5 or 6, Zaitsev and his students moved like phantoms through the bombed-out factories and apartment buildings. They stealthily navigated through areas that had changed hands countless times, often able to hear the enemy speaking just on the other side of a wall or walking on the floor above. Once they settled into their chosen positions, they prepared for extended stays, sometimes lasting for days. The front line was under constant observation by the Germans, forcing them to remain motionless during daylight hours, unable even to relieve themselves. Soon, they became wild-eyed, emaciated, unshaven, and often trembling with fatigue. They endured numerous shortages, food, ammunition, water, but the most debilitating was sleep deprivation. Lying in a shallow pit all day, their gaze fixed on an unchanging panorama of rubble and ruins, the snipers faced both mental and physical exhaustion. The consequences of this relentless monotony could lead to hesitation and indifference, deadly traits in their line of work. While it may only take a couple of seconds for a sniper to aim and fire, the preparation for this task often requires hours and hours of close observation. But what kind of observing can a sniper do when he's fatigued? He's useless. What's more, he may endanger himself or others because he stopped paying attention. And a sniper in this state of mind does not have the correct mental focus for combat. However, when engaged, a sniper team became an exceptionally lethal force. They could eliminate groups of valuable officers in mere seconds. Once a firing corridor was established, the enemy was effectively trapped within their position, with no chance of escape or reinforcement, becoming dead men walking. It wasn't long before Zaitsev's name began to spread. By his own account, he averaged 4 German kills per day, at a time when the average life expectancy for a soldier inside Stalingrad was a mere 24 hours. Stories of his exploits circulated through the ranks, eventually reaching the attention of the commissariat and even the press. However, his growing fame also brought unwanted attention from the Germans. Zaitsev wrote that the enemy became so agitated by their losses to Soviet snipers that they deployed their own marksmen to counter the threat. The presence of German snipers became a very real and dangerous challenge, and a duel between 2 snipers was considered the ultimate test of skill. When Zaitsev was alerted to the presence of a German sniper, he would meticulously hunt him down. First, he would gather information from witnesses who could describe where and how soldiers had been hit. Then, he would carefully approach the suspected sector, searching for any clues that might reveal the enemy's hiding place. Locating a well-camouflaged shooter amidst the constant noise and chaos of Stalingrad was an incredibly difficult task. While Soviet snipers often crawled right up to the very edge of the forward lines, German snipers generally established their positions deeper within their own lines. Zaitsev would systematically scan every bush, every foxhole, as even a discarded artillery cartridge could conceal the muzzle of an enemy sniper's rifle. Both sides also resorted to the grim tactic of using wounded soldiers as bait. As the injured men cried out for help, hoping someone would risk their life to retrieve them, the enemy sniper would patiently wait, his sights zeroed in on anyone foolish enough to attempt a rescue. It always intrigues me to look through good optics at an enemy hundreds of meters away. Beforehand, you could only see him as a small and indistinct shape. Then suddenly you can see the details of his uniform, and whether he is short or tall, skinny or fat. You can tell whether or not he has shaved that morning. You know if he is young or old, and if he is an officer or a soldier. You can see the expression on his face, and sometimes your target will be talking to another soldier or even singing to himself. And as your man wipes his brow or lazily moves so that his helmet shifts, you can find the best spot to plant your bullet. Once he had a likely idea of the enemy sniper's lair, Zaitsev would prepare for the duel by establishing several fallback positions and setting up decoys. Like a hunter in the wilderness, he could either patiently wait for his prey to reveal itself or attempt to lure it out. Let's say you spot what appears to be the reflection of a lighter in the sun, and you presume it's a sniper lighting a cigarette. Maybe yes, maybe no. Mark the spot and wait. A stream of smoke should appear, a little time will pass, or maybe even a whole day, and for a fraction of a second a helmet appears. But don't fire, even if you can get him this time. You don't know yet where among the decoy positions you'll find your real enemy sniper. And if you shoot and hit a decoy, you revealed your position but gained nothing. Hours could pass where a sniper did nothing but lie in wait. Their eyes would ache from constantly staring ahead, their necks stiff from the strain of holding their heads perfectly still. All for a fleeting hunch, for the ingrained instinct that a valuable target, an officer or an enemy sniper, was out there. The duelists would lie motionless in their hidden lairs, observing the front in total silence. The first one to make a mistake, the one who could no longer endure the crushing tedium and boredom, would inevitably be the loser. Vasily Zaitsev did not witness the final moments of the Battle of Stalingrad. Shrapnel from a German Nebelwerfer rocket launcher temporarily robbed him of his sight, inflicting a horrific head wound. It wasn't until mid-February 1943 that doctors were able to restore his vision. He left the hospital a celebrated hero of Stalingrad and of the Soviet Union, decorated with the prestigious Order of Lenin. Yet his personal account, Notes of a Russian Sniper, remains to this day a compelling and insightful read, offering a stark and fascinating glimpse into the brutal reality of individual combat amidst the ruins of Stalingrad.